There were a few things in the first few weeks that I realized I haven't put in the van, and when I want to stop, I'll stop. I'm staying in that temperature as long as I can. Hello and welcome to the video. Well, it's been a few weeks since I posted a video on YouTube, and I want to apologize for that. I actually got sick for about a week, and then I just took another week to really rest and recover, and now I'm back at it. So this video is going to be the questions that you asked. So I did put a post on my community post asking for questions, and there are a lot of new viewers and subscribers, so welcome to everyone. And here are some of the questions that you asked. I have my laptop set up here with the questions on them, so I'm going to read them from the laptop. The first one is from Michelle Peebles, and Michelle asks, I'm about to hit the road full-time later this year, and I was wondering how long it took you to adjust from a normal life of house, job and routine to a nomadic one. So I'm going to answer that first. There's two parts to this question. So that part, I actually made a video on my transition to van life. So I'm going to put a link to that video in the descriptions below. I think it's from house life to van life is the title. I'll put description in that below for you, Michelle, anyone else that's interested. I did do a transition over about 18 months. Right. I'm just editing the video here, and I realized I don't think I've answered Michelle's question. Michelle was asking about once I moved into the van. So Michelle, I have made a video called year 1 versus year 2 versus year 3 in the van, and I will put a link for that in the description below, and I think that will answer your question about how I transitioned into van life. All right, back to the main event. The second question is also any things you had to purchase in the first few months that you missed. So I didn't miss anything, but there were a few things in the first few weeks that I realized I haven't put in the van. One of them was fly screens. I got those really quickly. And second was I had to change my phone because I was with Optus and I didn't get good reception. As soon as I left the city, I didn't get reception and I couldn't work. So I switched my phone to Optus to Telstra. And those are the two main things I did within the first few weeks of living in the van. Okay, next question I have is from Nora Finley, and Nora asks me, how do I find campsites to stay at? So I have done a few other Q&As, I've mentioned that in there. I use WikiCamps, so 99.9% of the time I will use WikiCamps. I do get word of mouth from people on the road, but I still look it up in WikiCamps and read the reviews, because people will recommend something that's good for them. And there are a lot of people in caravans, and there are a lot of people without dogs. And so I fall into the category of not being self-contained and having a dog. So I use WikiCamps always to check what the rules are for that campsite, read the reviews, and that's how I choose where to camp. The next question is from Annie S. And Annie says, hi Brenna, do you see yourself living van life long term? And also curious to know if I think this lifestyle is sustainable. So I think, I've got to tell you, I think one of my very first Q&As, which is like 18 months ago, I did say, I get asked a lot, how long am I going to do this for, especially by my friends and family. And I've always said, and I still say, I will do it until I don't want to do it anymore. I don't have any set time frame. It is the title of my YouTube channel is Brenna Living Joyfully. So as long as I still find it joyful and I still want to do it, then I'll do it. And when I want to stop, I'll stop. I have no rules around this, no preconceived ideas. Do I think this lifestyle is sustainable? That's a tricky question to answer. I would generally say yes. I have met people that have been on the road for, 15 or more years. So yes, it's sustainable. I'm not sure what the future is going to hold, so it's hard to know that way. It also depends on, do I think living in this van for 15 years is sustainable? No, not as it depends on your age. As I get older, no, this wouldn't be enough. I'm obviously going to have, I expect to have more limitations on mobility and just needs in general. So yeah, it's sustainable, yes, but you may have to change and adapt as you change and adapt as you grow older. That's all I can say. And also, who knows what the rules will be around camping and everything that there is now. I don't know if they're going to change. I know in some countries they are really clamping down on free camping and things like that. So at the moment, I would say yes, it's sustainable, but it depends. It just depends. Hello, this is Editing Brenna again. I have had time to think about this question about whether I think this lifestyle is sustainable. And I think what I was trying to get at is it depends on your health. So it's really important that you stay fit physically and strong and mentally healthy in order for this to be sustainable. And what I was getting at too with the van is I can't stand up in this van, which is okay for me at the moment. I have very strong core, but as I get older, I could see that being a problem and not being a good healthy for my back and my spine and things like that. And also, is a small space, so I probably would like a little slightly bigger space if I was going to do this long term or longer. So that's what I was trying to get at with this answer to the question, and I hope that answers it now. All right, let's go back to the video. The next question comes from Ellie B, and she asks, when I hit the mainland again, am I heading straight to the north for colder months? And what do I do to stay warm in the van overnight? Okay, first question. I have left the mainland. I'm back on the mainland now for just over a month, and I am slowly making my way north. My ideal temperature is mid-20s during the day. So I am just going to keep going north slowly and staying in that temperature as long as I can. That's my plan. That is my plan. I do have a house sit later in the year that I'm going to do for my friends. And then so I will go back for that. And that will be over the winter months. But other words, yeah, I just slowly make my way north. I'm not in a hurry to get into 30 plus degrees. It's not comfortable for me or Abby in the van. The second half of that question is, how do I stay warm in the van overnight? So again, I have made a video. It's called, I think, My Coldest Night in the Van. I'll put a link in the description box below, and that goes over everything I did to make my van insulated and everything, and what I do to keep warm on really cold nights, like it went down to -4. So I'll put that in the video below. Okay, next question is from Coralie, who I like to think is my friend. Coralie has a channel called Jump With No Fear, if you want to go check it out. And she asks me about Abby, my sidekick here. So she says, how long has Abby been with me? Where did she come from, and how old was she when she came to live with you? So Abby has been with me for 9.5 years. She was 7 months when I got her, and I did get her from the RSPCA, and she had been surrendered by her family, who said she was too active. And if you've seen most of my videos, Abby's not highly active. She sleeps a lot. She is really active in the morning and the evening for a few hours each time. But apart from that, if you take her for a walk in the morning, take her for a walk at night, play with her, she's not that active. But that is when I got Abby. So she's been with me quite a while. She's 10 years old now. And yeah, I keep telling her she could go at like another 3 or 4 years would be really good. Okay, I have a question here from Natalie Mitchell. Natalie asks, what are my top 5 items I have in my van that could be most useful, everyday use, or your favorite gadget items that would bring to van life? That's a hard question, Natalie. I've never really thought about it before, but that would make a good video, wouldn't it? All right, I'll try and name a couple of things, and then I might make a video on this. Thanks, Natalie, for the suggestion. So top 5 things most useful for every day. I love my solar lights. Solar lights, I think, are great. I don't rely on power. They work really well. I'm going to do a van life hack video, and I'll show you how I can move them around. So my solar lights would be the first thing. I got to have my pee jug, especially like if you're driving long distances and you just got to pee. I just pull over the side of the road and I can pee now. I love that. Items, I don't know. I think having a fridge is really good. At first I thought I was going to do just an esky, like a cooler, and that was like 2 days. I'm like, no, I'm getting a fridge. So I think the fridge is really important. And probably the dog. Does that count? You have to have the dog for company. I love having Abby. I couldn't imagine doing it without her. So she's been really, really good. And I don't know what else. No, I don't really know what else. I think probably top 5 items would be a non-digital hobby. So for me at the moment, it's my art supplies. So something that you can do, that could be art supplies, jigsaw puzzles, something that you do that doesn't require anything digital. That is, I think, is a must for your van life, a real must. I'm back. All right. I'm not sure what this person was thinking when they made this video, but she missed the most important item to have in the van. I didn't think of it at the time, but my number one thing to have in the van is a headlamp. So apart from the obvious use, which is outside when it's dark and you don't trip over things, I use it all the time in the van. And this one charges with USB, so it doesn't take batteries. And I'll use it, like, instead of having my van lit up really bright, I'll use this for doing my artwork or when I'm reading, and that way it just focuses on the area that I need, and I can keep the rest of the van nice and dim. Number one item for van life, headlamp. All right, back to the video. Another part to this question, is there anything I'd like to change or upgrade in my van and why? Not this. I'm going to say this is I'm going to be a weird answer. Not to this van. I will not be doing any upgrades physically to this van because I don't think this van's going to be with me that much longer. Originally it was supposed to be a trial van, and we're coming up to 3 years now, and I don't think I'll do any more upgrades to this van. I'd rather get a newer model and then do what I want to do to that. But this one, if I ripped everything out now, I've made no alterations to the actual body, I could just strip everything out and sell it like as a tradies van. So yeah, there's nothing I want to do to this van, no. Another van, well, that could be another video. I have another question from Wilma Fyland. I think that's how you say it, Wilma. I'm sorry if I've got it wrong. She said, I'd like to know how you go about maintaining your van while on the road and if I've had any major mechanical problems. Okay, Wilma, to go about maintaining my van on the road, I just get it serviced regularly every 10,000 kilometers. And I just basically book into a mechanics, and I try and find a mechanic where there's a park or something nearby, and I leave it with them for the service, and then Abby and I go and walk around, and sometimes we spend half a day or more in a park, and that's what we do. Sometimes, like if I'm with friends, I can get it done then, but that's basically, it's not difficult. Like, it's mostly only 2 times a year, so it's pretty easy to do. Have I had any mechanical problems? Yes, I have. I have. First 3 months of the van, I had to replace the gearbox. And to do that, I actually did it in a small country town in WA, and I was staying at the caravan park. And so I just, caravan parks in WA have these really nice camp kitchens. So basically I just set up in the camp kitchen for the day while they did my van. They did it in one day for me. I've also had one breakdown, again, out remote WA. The van had to get towed. Luckily I was in WA and not that far from friends and family, and they came and rescued me. And I went and stayed with my friend overnight for a couple of nights while they fixed my van, and then I caught a coach back up to pick it up. My sister helped me as well. They did like a relay. My sister, because they're close to where my sister lives, so she picked me up and she drove halfway to my friend, and then my friend, it was really quite funny. But yeah, thank you so much, friends and family. I know they're watching this, Faye and Bridget. So yeah, they rescued me there. I think that's the only major. Oh, I did have problems with it missing. And this is going back about 6 months ago. I finally got that solved. So yeah, I mean, the van, yeah, nothing's major. Would be the engine falls out, I guess, to me. Like, yeah, nothing, it's all fixable, it's all doable. You just have to work it out and it'll get done. I don't stress about things like that. I have really good roadside assistance. If I break down in the middle of nowhere, I'll get a hotel and a car and things like that. So yeah, that's all happened to me so far. Okay, another question is from Pas Veritas. I hope I'm saying that right. It could be Pa. What measures do I take as precaution for my and Abby's safety at camp on road? So I did make a video about all the safety measures that I take, and again I will link that in the description below. That has a lot of advice on what I do to stay safe. That's pretty well everything in there. Okay, I have another question from Sage, and I think Sage is in West Australia. I think you've commented a lot, Sage. Where am I off to after Tassie? How long do I think I will continue with van life? Is it permanent for me? And how do I keep cozy and warm throughout the winter? So, Sage, I think I've already answered most of your questions. Obviously, when I'm off to after Tassie, I'm on the mainland following the nice weather. Van life as long as I want. And how to keep warm, video is in the description below. But thanks for your question, Sage. Okay, Jenny Smith asks me, why did I choose the van I have and what criteria mattered most? This is a really good question, Jenny. So originally, for 2 years while I was planning van life, I thought I was going to get a Ford Transit up until it came time to actually buy my van. And I was talking to my brother-in-law about it, and he said, you know, they have a lot of problems with their engines, with their timing belts. And I was like, but I had my mind set. I'm getting a Ford Transit. Anyway, then I started to look online and realized there are a lot of Ford Transits for sale that didn't work. They didn't work. The engine was broken. And so I'm like, okay, Kevin might have a point here. So thanks, Kevin. Anyway, and that's when I did my research, and I thought really hard about what most important criteria for me was repairability. So I know I'm going to be traveling remote WA. I like the really small country towns. I don't want to stay in the big cities. So if my van breaks down, I want to know that some mechanic in a small country town can fix it. And that's why I chose the Toyota Hiace. There's a million of them on the road in Australia. Every mechanic would have worked on one, and bonus, you can get parts for them. So like my gearbox was a secondhand gearbox from a wrecker's. So it's really easy to fix. So my biggest criteria was repairability. Will I be able to get this fixed? I have my friends who have a motorhome. I think it's a Fiat, and they broke down near Brisbane, and they had to wait, I think it was 4 months to get a part from Europe to fix their van. I don't want to be in that situation. For me, most important thing, will I be able to get my van fixed in a small country town if I break down? Thanks for the question. Pamela Anderson, who also comments a lot, are you planning to travel other places other than Tasmania and your home state? So I've covered that, and my goal this year is to visit all the states and territories in Australia. So we're getting there. We'll see how we go. Marge Smith, I guess how I stay warm in the van. Again, that video is in the description below. Rusty Gypsy Roving. Hello, Rusty. Rusty sends me emails as well. Is there something I bought, stayed, walking track or road you traveled on you regretted? Oh, if I had any regrets, no, I can't say I've had any regrets. Sometimes maybe I think, well, that wasn't the smartest idea, but no regrets, because every time I've done something, I learn. I just learn as I go. So I can't say I've had any regrets, but sometimes it's like, yeah, that wasn't the smartest idea, or that wasn't the wisest thing. If I've bought something, I will try and repurpose it, give it to somebody that can use it. If I've gone down a road and I'm like, well, I won't do that again. I know better. And I did stop myself. I've learned, because there was one road in Tasmania, it was super corrugated, and I was like, and I drove like 2 kilometers, and I said, no, just turn around, Brenda. No, stop it. So I've learnt to say no and turn around. It's okay. So no regrets. Every experience is a learning opportunity. And nothing I regret. Okay, last question I have is from Dorothy Hissy, and which I think is Dot. I think a few of these people are on my Patreon. So Dot says, what Wi-Fi do I use, as she intends to travel and work online? So I use my phone as a hotspot, and I use Telstra, and have a really good deal with them where it costs $68 a month, and I get 80 gigabyte of data, which work because the uploading videos uses a lot of data, and also my work doesn't use that much, but uploading videos uses a lot of data. So I use Telstra Wi-Fi hotspot on my phone, and I've got to say that's been really good. Now, in an ideal world, I would get Starlink. And if anyone's thinking about Starlink, there's a few things to consider. First of all, the initial outlay is probably the least of your worries. It's around $500. It's this is in Australian dollars. It's $174 a month. to get the one that's for roaming, and it uses a lot of power. It uses 50 watts on the download and 75 watts on the upload. That's a lot of power. That's the same as my laptop. So keep in mind, have you got enough power to run Starlink if you're thinking of getting Starlink? So I won't be getting it in the near future. And I was thinking about the cost, and when I asked about the power, I'm like, yeah, no, that will just drain all my power. So no, I'm not going to bother with it. Not at the moment. All right, that's the end of the questions that I received. There's a couple of things I wanted to mention from my van life upgrades video, which I know a lot of you have come from there. So a few things I got comments on. I wanted to just make clear with the shower tent, I don't put it up and leave it up. I just put it up, have a shower, and put it away. When I'm camping, I try to keep a minimal footprint. So if it's an emergency, which mostly could be with me or Abby, like a medical emergency, I want to be able to leave really quickly. So I don't leave, sometimes I put my awning out, but I don't leave the shower tent set up. I just put it up, shower, and put it away. So don't worry about it blowing away or anything like that. The second thing was, I got a few comments about my walls, and people think I should paint my walls and make my van look prettier. And I just want to say, I love natural wood. I always have. When I had my house, my kitchen was all wood grain cabinets. I just love wood. Always had natural wood. I had a beautiful Canadian oak dining table. I love natural wood. I've always had natural wood furniture. I love natural wood. So I will never paint the walls in my van. I probably won't paint the walls in a new van either. I love the natural wood look. I might do some little decorations now with my art, but I'm not going to paint it. So I know some people like the painted look, but I don't. I like the natural wood, so I'm going to keep it that way. All right. I think that's about all I wanted to comment from that. That was the biggest comments I got, I think, on that video. And a lot of people gave great tips. Thank you so much for that. All right, that's the end of my Q&A video. I usually do one of these every couple of months, so keep an eye out in the community post on YouTube if you have questions for me, and I will answer them then. All right, I hope you're all doing well. Have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow for my May challenge announcement. All right, we'll see you. Bye, everybody.